Shalom to you, like giving all praise and honor and glory to you. How about Shem Shai, by Shem Chakodash, and giving double honor to the apostles, the elders, the great millstone, the elder bishops, the great millstone, who well, peace and salutation to the elect, the first future choicest part that whom the Lord going to have mercy upon in these time. Starting with 144,000 prophets, and the rest of the remnant of the elect, 1/3, men, women, and children, all collectively Israelites. Hebrew Israelites consist of so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the Israelite foreigners, like unto the speckled bird, that look like the heathen nations where they've been scattered to. All right. Salvation is for the elect of the nation of Israel. As we do know, 2/3 are going to get cut off and die. And we know all Israel shall, of course, receive, repentance. Oh, they'll have forgiveness, okay, through Yahweh Shai, but 2/3 are going to have to die that death of the uncircumcised here in Babylon, the great America, and judgments that's going out where these Israelites are scattered, too. All right. So, Shemai Mothman is a mop from the Great Millstone Plaintables, came by Philadelphia. Just coming with this topic here and prophecy, which we here at Great Millstone, if you're a new listener, we of course stay within prophecy, okay, because we are prophets unto the nations, okay, and the spirit of Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly or not ignorantly call, and they call them under names such as or titles, Jesus, and they'll say Yeshua and all sorts of Christos, or Christ, and his name is Yahweh Shai, okay, and that's his pure name that he was given and received and was called by. All right, if you could receive it. All right, and they go back to the Paleo Hebrew, the ancient language that has been returned to us. Now, Revelation 19:10, it says, "And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy." And that's why, we come, with that spirit, okay, because Yahweh Shai was a prophet and come in the spirit of prophecy, okay. So, we're going to stay in the meditation of prophecies as us as spiritual men, prophets, okay, and we're also priests as well. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 39:1. It says, "But he that is given his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies." Okay, so this is our office. Okay, our office is to be within prophecy. All right, and to covet to prophesy. Now, in prophecy, Philadelphia Housing Authority will shrink staff in 2026 to cut operating expenses. Why would these different various even government departments, not only just private sector jobs, which 60K private sector jobs lost during the government shutdown, lasted 43 days here in America. All right, it's published November 14th. It's currently November the 20th, 2025. Hopefully, year of the destruction at Ishashua, Adawam, Esau, Edom, and deliverance of Jacob, the elect of the nation of Israel. All right. White House economic advisor says, okay, 60,000 private sector jobs were lost because of that shutdown. All right, and there's other reasons why, of course, and there's businesses shutting down. Okay, you have it where there's a demise and really the buyer optimism and such too. Okay, so you have it here. a bureaucratic office of the Philadelphia Housing Authority, which would provide housing, okay, for so-called low-income people. All right, here when you think about the projects, think about that being one of them. Okay, and they got different other houses that are, you know, given over, by PHA, this office. Okay, and have people live in them. The decision is meant to reduce operating costs as the agency works to remake its entire portfolio of affordable units. So the agency itself is going to do a change, and you have to understand that there is what major resetting and restructuring going on. Okay, don't think that government shutdown was for nothing. All right, that government shutdown is part of what to change a lot of what legislation to push towards a lot of the different prophecies that will come on and happen here in Babylon the Great America. All right, and you're gonna have people that will be cast out of houses and gonna suffer loss. Okay, it wasn't just you're gonna be losing out on food and stuff, food stamps and stuff. Other programs are impacted as well. Okay, federal money has to be what given. Okay, by as you have it. Where do the Philadelphia Housing Authority gets their money? And I would think that would be under funding from the Department of that's HUD, I believe it's called. Yeah, that's a U.S. Department of Housing, Urban Development. Right. Yeah. Right. It primarily gets its money from the federal government. About 93% of its annual budget. All right, annually. Okay, coming from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. It also receives funding through partnership with city and state governments, private investors, and its own initiative like generating revenue from tax credit and issuing bonds. Okay, but if that's being affected, okay, what do you think is going to happen? All right. Why are they remaking its entire portfolio of affordable units? Okay, remember somebody have to pay for these units, these housing dwelling that people get these different vouchers for. Right. Philadelphia Housing Authority manages the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program in Philadelphia, which provides rental assistance to low-income families. And the PHA is the primary local agency that administers these federal subsidies. Okay, so they're a bureaucratic office that does that. Okay, they administer it, which help pay or help cover rent for private housing units as well. Okay, and they have these different units within private housing, other than public housing, and they pay different, and landlords to use their property, all right, for their tenants, and the tenant pays a very very small amount of money, and the rest is being funded by your government. Okay, so now you have that restructuring going on. Have a question about Philly's neighborhood or the system that shaped them. Okay, let me see. Let me just get back to it. Slakia. The Philadelphia Housing Authority plans to lay off approximately 300 employees next year, including many who perform the agency property maintenance and repair work. And these are common men, okay, that do the work, blue collar work, and such. Simple. Okay? They have what they would call the city jobs or something like that, just under that bureaucracy. Okay? The vast majority of these jobs are union positions belonging to members of the Philadelphia Building and Construction Trades Council. All right, a powerful umbrella organization for more than 50 locals that are part of the construction industry. But it says, and that's just representation. Okay, that's a mediation. Okay, they can't stop, your job. Okay, from being taken from you. Hey, you could keep your title. I've heard a union, particular union man rep say, hey, we could promise you your title, but not your job. Okay? And nothing here in Babylon, you don't have no continuous city here. And these jobs that you have, there ain't no guarantee with that. Okay? A lot of people have, trusted in the shadow of Egypt. Okay? As the scripture have said. Okay? And this is Isaiah 30 and 2. 30 and 1. Woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. That walk down into Egypt, which is America. This is likened on to what? This is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. Okay? As the scriptures, tell you. Okay? Have, of course, the double straits, the slavery of the Israelites here, which they came into this place by the way of ships. Okay, Judah and Israel, they are pressed together here. Okay, and we're still in the captivity to this day. It says, and not asked at my mouth, which are the prophets, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, your ruler. Okay, your president. Okay. You have it, people trust in the democracy and trust in the shadow or the protection of Egypt, of America. All right, we have these union jobs. Okay, they're really good. You get in and you can always have labor and work with us. All right. A lot of people trust in that as a secure career. PHA employs about 1,200 people, reducing the workforce by more than 20% will save the agency $24 million a year. Why does this agent need to save money? Okay, we would have to go into the funding, okay, and what's to come. All right, PHA president Calvin Jeremiah said the decision reached in a partnership with the trades represent a significant shift in how the PHA conducts maintenance and repair work. Starting in January, the agency will begin contracting out these jobs instead of directly hiring union workers. Okay? And that's another thing. Okay? Where, people don't know. This entity can hire other people, private, right? The list of impacted positions include electricians, carpenters, plumbers, and other skilled laborers, right? Remember, they're looking to save money, okay? Because you have people with the thing that they tell them they're trying to, they're going to pay them more money, because they don't want to pay them, the workers more, the union workers. The work rule change will not impact the building trade when it comes to new construction projects carried out by the PHA. Jeremiah said that the cutbacks are necessary for the agent to continue fulfilling its mission of providing affordable housing to families in need. Okay? Right, some of the things, and as we do know, things are becoming expensive and more, especially in Philadelphia. The housing market has shifted and such. Less people are buying homes, as they'll say, and more people are just renting, being priced out. Investors buying up everything. Investors want to get a lot of different housing just get rented out and such, and a lot of these different real estate people and property management, they just want to rent out to these Section 8 and such. All right, but anyway, for the guaranteed money, it says the authority is the largest landlord in the city, renting to about 82,000 residents. So they the biggest landlord. Okay, which E is the biggest landlord. According to Jeremiah, the operating expense of each unit is well over 15,000 a year. Okay, largely because of maintenance and repair work must be carried by multiple skilled laborers as opposed to a single jack of all trades. So, they have a particular individual, hey, they do this, they do that, they do this, they do that. Okay? So he's trying to justify it, but it's going to keep going. We cannot do that with unsustainable operating expense that far exceeds all industry standards, far exceeds the private market, right? And that far exceeds other similar situated entities, he said. We have too many employees who have very defined roles. A carpenter who can only do carpentry work, an electrician who can only do electrician work, right? So, you have it because, you have the rise of unions. Okay. You got individuals saying, oh, I can only do what's within my job title. Okay. Well, we will outsource to people that can carry and do the job we want. Okay. Done. And at the price we want. Okay, and a lot of times, a lot of these individuals are not doing the jobs. Simple as that. Okay, because you got work programs, and that's another thing from another, perspective. That's I think off the Inquirer that they're talking about. Okay, and you have these people that get these different government jobs for part of different programs and stuff. To get them into work, but then again. You are providing them a job, but again, the money that's being used on the labor to pay these salaries and also for the work that's being done, are we really accomplishing what needs to be done? Or are we just providing jobs for people? Okay, so really, like I say, this is like bad business, okay, going on. All right. And that's another lesson for another time. Right. We have too many laborers who have defined roles. Carpenter only do carpenter work. Electrician only do electric work. A plumber who is only permitted to do plumbing work. A laborer who's only to do laborer's work. And that model does not exist anywhere. And it is cost prohibitive, he added. Okay? In addition to union jobs, the authority is laying off administrative employees. So even people that work within management, okay, as well as property management and support position as this central office. Okay, so you see that America is closing down. Okay, simple. The cutbacks are a partial response to PHA shuttering the renovating hundreds of units across of its traditional public housing, Fairhill Apartments, Bartram Village, West Park. Fewer units in use, fewer maintenance and repair workers are needed. That's what they're going to try to tell you, right? PHA will continue to employ about 360 members of the building trades, including the maintenance mechanics, maintenance aides, and laborers. The layoffs come as the authority works towards remaking its entire portfolio, an ambiguous initiative launched last year under Open Doors plan. PHA will preserve, redevelop, build, and or acquire roughly 20,000 units over 8 years, and estimated the 6.3 billion investment amid the deepening affordable housing crisis. Right, this is a problem. People are finding it hard to afford houses and housing, so they get on this, but then they got to create more affordable housing and be able to pay for the affordable housing and get the money, but then the money is running out, okay, and it's losing its value, right, because they create the money, okay, as we know. The initiative, which PHA says it will generate 4,900 jobs, gets underway at the time of great uncertainty for the housing authority across the country, including Philadelphia Housing Authority. So it's not just this particular bureaucracy. This is going across the board. Trump administration, for example, has cut staff, canceling contracts, and frozen funding. In the U.S. Department of Housing, Urban Development, PHA receives 93% of its funding from HUD, which I already done showed y'all that. Okay. Going down, Jeremiah said Wednesday the layoffs are partly response to expected cuts at the federal level. Okay. In every case, whether it's a president, the House, or Senate versions, all three call for reduction in funding. He said, there isn't any way for us to wait for that to happen given the already high costs. Ryan Boiler, business manager of the Philadelphia Building and Construction Trades Council, said in a statement that the layoffs were caused by the Republican Party's supposed to be big beautiful bill, but he called it the big ugly bill. Okay, so yeah, you can if y'all voted Trump and all this other stuff, or believed in your leaders, this may have bought things back for you. PHA knows how to pivot to meet challenge, and we at the building trades understand the trades will still do PHA work, just in a different configuration. Okay? He said that maintenance work his member performed was never meant to be permanent. Okay? And that's heavy. We were bought in an argument that the already great craftsmanship being performed by the PHA workforce. He said that unionized workforce is still in place and will see PHA through these turbulent economic times. Okay, everything is about the economy, and it's going down. Okay, Babylon is not healing. Okay, it's not going to heal. It's only going to get worse. All right. So you don't have no continuing city. Okay. This is for you Israelites. Okay. Y'all think that if this place is Babylon the Great, the golden city, and it's gonna be destroyed, as it means destructured. What do you think is gonna happen with the different offices and the jobs? Okay. What's going to happen to you, or many of you? For here we have no continuous city, but we seek one to come, the kingdom of Yahweh Shai, not under this rulership, under Ishashua Adawam, the rogue men. All right, see, I'll call themselves wait or nay. All right, the elite that have all of this are going down. All right, and they're coming with a change of the system. Okay, and they can see the economic woes, even though they would try to make it seem as if everything's all right, just because you can see people driving new cars and living in different housing. The place is falling. Babylon is falling. All right. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12:1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun, nor or light, or moon, or stars not be darkened, all right, nor the clouds return after the rain, and the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, the economists, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders seek. And the grinders cease, the workers, the laborers, because they are few jobs. Okay, the jobs that are now out there is being replaced. Okay, and it's gonna be a great continuing replacement. And those that look out the windows be darkened. Okay, the future is bleak, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Okay, and you see these businesses. I gave y'all that example. 60,000 private sector jobs are being lost. Hey, even if they go to private sector, hey, the private sector is, of course, taking losses too. So don't think that, hey, if you're in the government sector and your job is guaranteed, because it's not. Okay. Remember, as the scriptures do tell you too, you know, pardon me. That pretty much that you have no guarantee about tomorrow. So, hey, I could go into more, but we're gonna cut it short with that. Maybe revisit this topic. Shalom to the elect.